Today, we're going to dive into looking at family. And I know a lot of you are going to listen to this later, but I want to kind of map out a little bit of a strategy that maybe you'll employ today, but maybe you'll do it another day when you've got a little bit of time. But I want you to, start to get in a piece of paper, and I want you to make a list of some of the things that you still have issues with your family. What is it that prevents you from engaging with them in a way that you can have space and ease? Maybe it's memories, maybe it's the judgments of who they are and how they react to you, and just to start to make a list of what those things are. And then after you've kind of made a list of what those things are, then I want you to take a little bit of time to actually go through getting rid of them. And this is a process where, again, like I really want to just kind of nail it in for you guys that the actual tools, like the tools themselves are great, but the tools work because you choose for them to work. So it doesn't necessarily matter whether you're using some EFT techniques, meridian tapping, whether you're using NLP techniques, it doesn't necessarily matter. Yes, some of them are going to appeal to you more than others. The blasting technique that I use, I like it. It works really fast. It's not a complicated system. That's why I like it, because I don't like to overcomplicate things. I'm not one of these people that I want to, go through a whole complicated thing. And I will still use the EFT at times now, but I find that it's slow because I've got to go through and you got to hit each of the tapping points and talk about what's going on. And, instead having this idea where we just, you can feel it. So grab it. And then the intention is to let it go. And that's really the intention. It's you. If you didn't intend, if you're not ready to let it go, it's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't matter whether you're using EFT tapping, NLP techniques, whatever. If you're not ready to let something go, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so I really want to get that across to people that it's not about the modality. It's about you getting to the place where you're really actually going to let it go. And that's the big piece of probably the biggest difference of what I do and how I do it, is that I'm really trying to train people to get connected with what does it feel like when you've let it go. And so how do you know? And then, getting you into that space of that, making that choice and making that commitment to you to actually let it go. Not just pretend, not just be tapping on some points like, oh, I'm doing this. No. To actually dig in and say, okay, I want to change this. I want to let this go. This doesn't have to affect me anymore. This doesn't have to bog me down anymore. And I'm letting it go. So after you've made your list of the things, then tackle one at a time. All right. So, if you're working with somebody like myself who can, move you along really quickly, we can together, because we're holding the space together, and that magnification of energy, people together, moves things really fast. But when you're working on your own, then just start with one and look at what is, one of those incidences. So, hey, we have somebody live. Yay, hit the like button. Merry Christmas. So when you take one of those things, like let's say when you were 4, you were supposed to get your first tricycle and you didn't, or maybe it's a bike at 4, I don't know. I love kids. So, maybe you were supposed to get your first bike and you were, maybe it's Christmas time and you were really expecting that first bike and you wanted it. You wrote to Santa, you were doing all these things, and yet the bike didn't come. And you were really disappointed because the bike didn't come. And your family just was like, well, just get over it, right? Telling you to just get over it or whatever. Maybe they dismissed it. So if you take that incident, whatever that is, we take that incident, you start saying, hey, Christy, Merry Christmas. You start saying, what is it about that? You start to look at the energy that's around it. It's like, oh, what if I remove that energy out of my body and everything that's attached to it? And it's kind of like, what I've made it mean. And you really start pulling all those threads, all those tentacles. And like I say, it's about you connecting with the feel of it, the energy of it. Okay, because if you don't actually connect with the feel of it, the energy of it, it's not going to do diddly squat. in all of the energy-based tools and techniques, if you don't actually allow yourself to like, oh, okay, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can release this, then it's not going to go anywhere. So you start pulling out all of that stuff and you allow yourself to expand out. And as always, before we start this, we expand out. So you keep expanding out to just grab all of it that's attached to it, all of it, all of it, all of it. And you'll know when you've got it because it feels like there's more space. It feels like there's some ease. And then for fun, I mean, we don't even have to, but for fun, just because I like keeping it playful and light, is just throw a big blast at it, right? Just blast it out. Throw some atomic marshmallows at it, some unicorn poop. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Because it's the intention of, okay, that's done. And I'm removing it from my system. So those are your pieces with that, is that you're going to make a list of all the crappy things that your family's ever done. We love family. They're just such a good, an endless source of crap, right? Once you've made a nice list, a good chunk, then you're going to just take one at a time, really let yourself connect with all the layers, okay? And if you're doing this yourself, realize that, you know, it may take you 5 or 10 minutes to go through one incident on your own. You know, when I'm working with people, I can move through it in 30 seconds because it's fast, right? Because I'm holding a space to let that move, to let that go. But if you're doing it on your own, maybe it'll take you 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe it'll take a couple of rounds before you're willing to actually let it go. And that's the other thing, is that when you work with somebody who can read your energy, then they can, you know, guide you and say, no, you need to go deeper. You need to go deeper. And sometimes when we work on our own, we delude ourselves into thinking, I'm good. I got it all. I'm good, right? And you don't end up going all the way into all of it so that it really provides some freedom. So then you think it's come back, and it's not that it's come back, it's that it wasn't fully cleared, right? That there's another aspect of it that didn't get addressed. And that's one of the dangers with doing this kind of work on your own, is that you can really easily delude yourself. And I know, I spent years like, oh, I'm not going to pay anybody to do this. I can just do this myself, right? Like, I was totally in the cheap mode. But there's been huge value for me over the years of actually investing in with somebody or doing a trade, whatever way. Like, it's actually taking that deeper step and saying, I'm going to hand this over. I'm going to surrender and over to somebody else and let myself be supported and guided rather than me trying to be therapist and patient at the same time. So those are your pieces. I would encourage you to look at all the stuff around family. Just take one topic. I'm sure there's enough to fill a whole journal with family and all their judgments of you, all your judgments of them, right? And if you start clearing off how you feel about family, because family is kind of the core piece, if you start clearing off how you feel about your family, you're going to start to notice where it's easier for you to show up with them and where it's easier for you to show up with people who are similar to your family. Because, you know, we all run into people who are like our family, that's similar to those, you know, our core players in the early days. So this work really has a dynamic effect on how it feels to be in your body. And yeah, family's a fun topic to play in. So I have one Christmas invitation. I want to remind everyone who's watching that the trauma release program is still going on. And I would love for you guys to start joining me with that, because the changes that we're seeing with those that are in the program is so dynamic. We have people that are now, you know, getting to a place where they're comfortable. You know, women who were never comfortable with men are now starting to feel at ease around men. Maybe not super comfy, but now just like still the beginning, but starting to feel like, oh, they don't have the big walls up. They're on guard. Or I've had people saying they've had the deepest sleep of their life on the nights of the healing. I've got one couple that, you know, they were on the brink of divorce, and now the conversation is going and they're turning things around. Like, these are just a couple of examples. I'm so excited. Plus $39 a month. It's such a low price point. I really do want to get the word out on this. Oh, and one other thing. So the app is now available both in iOS and Android. So you can get the app, get that on your phone. You've got nice, quiet access to all the videos and all the podcasts in one spot. So it's a nice, peaceful place to go instead of this noisy Facebook crap. Anyway, have fun. Mwah. Merry Christmas to everyone.